Ladies and gentlemen, silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use in life. Most people don't realize it, but silence carries more weight than words. In a world where everybody wants to talk, where everyone wants to be heard, the person who knows when to stay quiet holds real power. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody. The moment you understand this, life becomes a lot easier. People waste so much energy trying to prove themselves. They want to argue their point, defend their actions, and explain their decisions. But let me tell you something. When you truly know your worth, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Silence is confidence. It's knowing who you are and where you're headed without needing the approval of others. You don't have to chase validation. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who don't even care, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Silence also helps you read the room. When you talk too much, you miss important details. You overlook opportunities. But when you listen more than you speak, you learn. You start to understand people better. You see through their words and recognize their true intentions. Not everyone clapping for you is happy for you. Not everyone smiling at you is on your side. When you stay silent and observe, you notice things that most people don't. You recognize who's genuine and who's not. Another thing about silence is that it teaches patience. A lot of people make bad decisions because they react too fast. Someone insults them and they snap back. Someone doubts them and they rush to prove themselves. But successful people know that not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes silence is the best answer. Sometimes walking away is the best move. Think about the most powerful people in the world. They don't waste time arguing. They don't respond to every little thing. They know their energy is too valuable for that. Instead, they stay quiet, they work, and they let the results do the talking. That's real power. Silence also gives you clarity. When you're always talking, your mind is clouded with noise. You're too busy reacting to think clearly. But when you take a step back and stay quiet, your thoughts settle. You start to see things for what they really are. You stop reacting out of emotion and start making smart decisions. A lot of people don't realize this, but silence also intimidates. When you stay quiet, people don't know what you're thinking. They don't know your next move, and that makes them uneasy. But when you always talk, when you always explain yourself, people can predict you. They know what to expect. That's why some of the most successful people move in silence. They don't announce their plans. They just show up when the work is done. You don't have to force what's meant for you. The right opportunities, the right people, the right moments will come naturally when the time is right. But if you're always pushing, always trying to control everything, you might just block your own blessings. Trust the process, keep working, keep believing, and let things unfold in their own time. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that not everything requires your reaction. It's knowing that some things are better left unsaid. And it's believing that what's meant for you will find its way to you without you having to chase it. Patience is one of the hardest things to practice, but it's also one of the most important. We live in a fast-paced world where everyone wants results instantly. People don't want to wait. They want success now, love now, money now. And when things don't happen as fast as they want, they get frustrated. They start doubting themselves, making rush decisions and trying to force things before their time. But what they don't realize is that some things take time. Some things require patience. When you rush, you make mistakes. You settle for things that aren't meant for you. You choose temporary satisfaction over long-term success. But when you practice patience, you allow things to unfold naturally. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You start making decisions with a clear mind instead of acting out of fear or desperation. Patience gives you clarity. When you wait instead of rushing, you see things for what they really are. You're able to make better choices because you're not blinded by pressure or emotions. A lot of people destroy great opportunities just because they lack patience. They give up too soon. They walk away just before things start working in their favor. They quit because they don't see immediate results. But what they don't realize is that success takes time, growth takes time. Nothing truly great happens overnight. When you plant a seed, you don't see results right away. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, give it sunlight, and trust that in time it will bloom. That's how life works too. Some things take longer than others, but that doesn't mean they won't happen. It just means you need to wait, trust, and keep doing the right things. Patience also teaches you discipline. When you're patient, you don't let emotions control you. You don't act on impulse. You think before you move. You understand that some things are worth waiting for, and you're willing to put in the time and effort to get them. That kind of discipline separates successful people from everyone else, because while most people give up too soon, those who practice patience keep going, knowing that their efforts will pay off eventually. People often ask why things aren't happening for them, why they aren't seeing results, why their dreams aren't coming true. The answer is simple. They're not patient enough. They want everything to happen on their timeline instead of trusting the process. But life doesn't work that way. Some things take months, some take years. And the sooner you accept that, the less frustrated you'll be. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about doing your part, putting in the work, and then allowing things to fall into place naturally. You can't rush the process. You can't control everything. But what you can do is stay consistent, stay disciplined, and trust that what's meant for you will come when the time is right. Patience also helps you deal with setbacks because, let's be real, things won't always go the way you want. There will be delays, obstacles, and moments where you feel stuck. But if you have patience, you won't let those moments break you. You'll keep going, knowing that setbacks are just a part of the journey. Most people fail because they lack patience. They give up too soon. They let small failures convince them that their dreams aren't possible. But those who keep going, those who stay patient, they're the ones who eventually succeed because they understand that failure isn't the end. It's just a lesson, a step in the process. When you practice patience, you also gain peace. You stop stressing over things you can't control. You stop comparing yourself to others who seem to be ahead. You trust your own path, your own timing. And that kind of peace is priceless. Patience doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're not working toward your goals. It just means you understand that great things take time. It means you believe in yourself enough to wait for the right moment instead of forcing the wrong one. No matter what you're working toward, whether it's success, love, or personal growth, patience will always be your greatest ally. Because when you stay patient, when you keep working, and when you trust the process, everything will come to you naturally. Life has a way of giving you what you need when you're truly ready for it. Most people don't realize this, but the more you chase something, the more it runs from you. The more you try to force things, the more resistance you create. There's a natural flow to life, and when you learn to trust it, everything starts falling into place in ways you never expected. Letting things come to you naturally doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you do your part, put in the work, and then allow life to take its course. The problem is people don't trust the process. They want to control every outcome, push things to happen on their timeline, and when things don't go their way, they get frustrated. But the truth is, forcing things never leads to anything good. It leads to stress, disappointment, and wasted energy. Think about the people who try too hard in relationships. They chase, they beg, they force connections that aren't meant for them. And what happens? The other person pulls away. But when you focus on yourself, when you work on becoming the best version of who you are, the right people naturally come into your life. The same applies to success. The more you obsess over results, the harder it seems to achieve them. But when you focus on the work itself, when you stay consistent and trust the process, opportunities start appearing effortlessly. There's a reason why the most successful people always say they let things flow. They don't mean they don't work hard. They mean they don't waste time on things that aren't meant for them. They don't force doors that won't open. They put in the effort, stay prepared, and trust that the right opportunities will come at the right time. Life rewards patience and preparation. If you're always chasing, always desperate, you miss the signs that something isn't meant for you. But when you stay patient and allow things to happen naturally, you recognize the right opportunities when they come. You don't rush into things out of fear. You move with confidence, knowing that what's meant for you will never pass you by. Most people struggle with this concept because they feel like waiting means wasting time. But waiting isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things while allowing life to do its part. When you trust that what's meant for you will come, you stop stressing over things you can't control. You stop trying to force relationships, jobs, or success that aren't aligned with you. You learn to walk away from situations that don't feel right because you know something better will come. Everything in nature follows this principle. A flower doesn't force itself to bloom before its time. A river doesn't struggle to reach the ocean. It flows naturally. And when you align yourself with this mindset, life becomes a lot easier. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself to everyone. You stop worrying about whether things are happening fast enough. You learn to trust that everything is happening exactly as it should. The people who seem the most at peace aren't the ones who have everything. They're the ones who have learned to let go. They don't waste time stressing over things they can't control. They don't force friendships, relationships, or success. They focus on their growth, their work, their purpose, and somehow everything else starts falling into place. You'll notice that when you stop chasing, the right things start chasing you. When you stop forcing relationships, the right people enter your life. When you stop obsessing over results, the right opportunities come your way. It's not magic, it's just the way life works. Most of the stress in life comes from trying to control things that aren't meant to be controlled. The sooner you understand this, the more peace you'll have. Let go of the need to force things. Trust the timing of your life. Keep working, keep believing, and allow everything to come to you naturally.